We are back with another episode on the Elevate Life podcast. This podcast is for women who are starting over again from loss and pain. And we are here to have conversations to help you do so with empowerment, purpose, and joy. We recognize that the one of the most constant things in life is transitions and the need to constantly start over again. So we're here to help our listeners, you guys, build a new version of yourself as you transition by reimagining a world where you are empowered to fully be yourself with greater life, greater clarity, wisdom, and boldness. I'm your host, Dieula Previlon. I am the executive director for Elevate Her International. I'm a therapist, a coach, and a minister, the proud mother of 3 adult sons, the proud wife to my husband, Prez, and a brand new grandmother, y'all, to a 7-month-old. And my co-host here today, my sister in love, Cherisna. Cherisna, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, everyone. It's so good to be back with you all. I'm an ordained minister, spiritual director, and advisor and coach. I'm also the founder and CEO of the Co-Conspirator Institute. I'm a proud auntie, sister, daughter, and it is so great to be with you all here today.
So this season, my sister in love is co-hosting with me, and we are doing this series on relationships. We're talking all about relationships. And I love this series. And Cherisna and myself, we have been brainstorming, talking about what are we going to do? What are the different sessions we're going to have? And this episode is about the art of sisterhood. I brought along some other friends by the recommendation of my sister in love. She's like, well, why don't you bring your girlfriends for this episode? You all have such a neat relationship. Why don't you bring them? Now, if you followed me online, at some point, you would have heard about the Woo. That's what we called ourselves from college. And if you're from the East Coast, you kind of know what the Woo is all about. We named ourselves after the Wu-Tang Clan because they had so many members in their clan, and so did we. So we're the female version of the Wu-Tang Clan. We all met in college. Well, some of us met in high school. Some of us are blood relatives. We all met in college, and it's been over 30 years. We met in college in 1994. So it's 32 years since we met. And so we thought we would bring my girlfriends, 2 of them. So there's 10 of us. And I could not get all 10 of us on this podcast. So we have 2 Woo representatives to help us just process through the art of sisterhood, because it is an art. Let me tell you, to have 10 friends lasting 32 years has to be an art. So let me turn it over to them to introduce themselves. And Cherisna and I will move the conversation forward because I could be here 3 hours reminiscing with these girls. So Cherisna, you're going to have to keep us in line with this conversation because we don't want to hear about the ex-lovers from 30 years ago. We don't want to hear about
Shots fired.
we're not doing that today. So you're going to keep us in line, Cherisna. But I'll turn it over to my girlfriends to introduce themselves. Ngozi, tell us about yourself.
Thank you, Dieula. What an intro. Wow, 32 years strong. Oh, Dieula and Cherisna, thank you for having me. Ngozi Afulezi. I'm in Atlanta, proud mom of 3 girls, twins, and my last born, a 16-year-old. Proud wife to Chidi Afulezi. I am, been in the advocacy, community engagement space for too many years to say. But yeah, I'm just happy to be here, part of the conversation, and yes, representing for the Woo. Ludy.
Hey everyone. Thank you, Dieula and Cherisna, for the invite. My name is Ludy Wooten. Like Ngozi, I am in the Atlanta area, the metro Atlanta area. I am a mom of a 16-year-old boy and a 12-year-old daughter. They are the joys of my life. Motherhood definitely shaped who I am today. I've been in the telecommunication space for 25 years. So, working with government contracts, that's my background. And I'm here to dive into this conversation about friendship and relationships. So, let's go.
Okay, so the one question that I have, and Cherisna, you can take over the conversation and ask whatever question you have, because I guess I'm being interviewed too. The one question I'm always wondering about is what drew you to this group? In college, the summer of 94, I know what was in my heart and what I was going through, but I'm always intrigued by what drew you to our friendship, to our connection, to this pack of women.
Well, let me
Being a
take it. I'll start and then Ungo can go. Well, for those that don't know, me and Jula are blood related. Our grandmothers are first cousins and they look alike. And me and Jula, we get that too. Like, is that your cousin sister? Y'all must be related. So we've known each other for quite some time now. When we all got into college, I can't put my finger on what brought all of us together. I really truly believe it was a God putting his hands around us because I can't pinpoint exactly. I know for sure I've known Ngozi and Ivy, like certain people we drew, but to tell you how all of us came collectively to be what we are, that is the divine intervention. I think it's all God putting his hand. And that's why I think the longevity of this relationship has been what it is.
That's good. It is good. I think it is. I agree. It's definitely divine because I always feel like we came together like Transformers, back in the day. We would watch just slowly, bit by bit. I remember for me, I think just coming together through our EOF program, the
Yes.
summer program that we were all a part of. I think I was just looking for familiarity, for some kind of a sisterhood, not knowing that's what I was looking for. But I think the first person that I connected with, if I'm being going really way back to our entrance exam, it was a Lanice. I connected with Lanice and I think I asked her something like, where are you from? Or I don't know, some question I asked just to get close to somebody. And then, from there we said, where are you from? We just exchanged some pleasantries. And from there, that's kind of my first friendship. And then I think Afia was the next one. I think asking her about hair or something to that effect. So just looking for common themes, for similarities, for somebody to kind of be somewhat like home, right? So I think I was looking for that, missing family and all. That was the first time I've been away for an extended amount of time, similar to you all. So I think that just looking for home, right? And
Yeah.
and slowly but surely I found it in all of you. Uh-huh.
We named the other members of the Woo to just pay respect to the whole Woo,
Yes,
who
yes,
are
yes,
not
yes.
here. So there's 10 of us. You
Yeah.
just mentioned Lanice and you mentioned Afia.
Mm-hmm.
There's Tanea.
Mm-hmm.
She lives in North Carolina right now. Anid
Mm-hmm.
is the PK in the group, but
That's
she has
it.
always been like the business person now to keep us in line. Who else am I missing?
Ivy.
Ivy, yes, Ivy is in
Another
Jersey.
PK.
Um, who did you say?
I said Ivy, another PK.
Another
Yes,
PK in
yes.
the group. Man, we gave those PKs a run for their money. Oh my God.
So who else? There's
Yes.
Kamani,
Come on, Young Kez.
Yonkez. And who
Yes.
else? Is
I
that
think that's
everybody? Let's
the
count.
three of
That's
us.
10 of us. The
Mhm.
way I remember,
How
Cherisna,
you
to keep
doing?
me in line, I'm like, there's 2 of us in Georgia. That's me and Nikki,
Yes.
right? And there's one in North Carolina. So that's
Mhm.
Tanea. And the rest of the 7
In
are all in
Jersey.
Jersey.
Oh,
So that's
wow.
Yeah.
how I remember.
Yes. We're all still in Jersey. I moved away and came back. Truth be told, I think we did a little bit of trauma bonding, right? When we first got into college, a bunch of
Mm.
black and brown women. Many of us, we were the first in our families to go to college.
Oh, wow.
Many of us having a room in college was the first time we ever had our
Your
own rooms
own
or
room.
even slept on our own beds,
Mm.
right? So we all gravitated towards each other because I think each of our lives was telling the other person's story.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
there was something familiar, like you said, Ngozi,
Mm.
it was like that familiar feeling
Yeah.
of being around your sister who's traveled the same path as you and
Mhm.
who broke free.
Mhm.
'Cause
'Cause I was running.
honestly,
I was running away.
college was breaking
That
free.
space. That's
Yes.
true.
It
That's
Yes.
really
true.
was for me, 'cause I was just like, "I gotta get out of here," you know?
I agree with you, Jula, because I coulda went to Rutgers Newark and
Mm.
stayed closer to home, but for
Mhm.
me, I'm the oldest of 3. I'm the oldest girl, and I have 2 younger brothers, and when you speak of, like, never having your own space, I was in a room with my 2 other brothers. They had bunk beds, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, and then I had my bed. So, I'm like, "Rutgers Newark or New Brunswick? It's an
Mhm.
hour away, I'm out of here."
Exactly.
So to me, it was just like find that space of yourself because you've always been with your brothers, your mom and
Mhm.
dad, right? But in retrospect, now that I look at it, it's a village, it's a community. I hated that when I was younger, right?
Mm.
But now as an adult, I would kill to be in a room with my brothers, to
Mhm.
be in one roof with my parents, to be in a
Mm.
village. So it's interesting how when we get older, we want to be
Yeah.
closer, but when we were younger, we just wanted to run away.
Break free.
Right, right. I don't wanna be under one roof with my mother,
Mm-mm.
but, you
You
know,
Mm-mm.
know what I mean,
Mm.
right? Like that whole
say that!
missing.
Don't
Oh my god, I just miss that though. I just miss
That's
that
funny.
that innocence of just being together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get
You
that.
know, I really appreciate even the chemistry that I'm bearing witness to. It's tickling for me to watch you all. And Jilla, you alluded to the question that I had for you all around familiarity.
Mm.
I think there's something unique about Black women and friendship.
Mm.
Part of it is exactly what you said, the context, right? There is a bearing witness or telling my story through your story, right? There
Mhm.
is a
Yes.
affirmation of one's identity and experience when we get together.
Mm.
With that, right? There's a level of intimacy that's unique in Black sisterhood that you find, at least for me, I find
Mm.
nowhere else.
Mhm.
Mhm,
Right? I
mhm.
don't find in intimate partners, right? If we're gonna be honest, we don't find even in family dynamics, right?
Mm.
There's this uniqueness. So I'd like for you all to kind of share a little bit about the intimacy, or if that's your experience, if there's a unique intimacy, a unique space here that I get nowhere else. Could you talk a little bit about
Mm. So, who do you want to start, or
I
Julie?
can for me, growing up, all I had was my 2 younger brothers, right? I have a sister on my dad's side, but she lived in the Bronx and I'm in Jersey. So coming to Rutgers and having these women, they're like my sisters. And to this day, that's what I consider. When I'm
Mm.
going through any tough times or happy times, right? We
that?
share good times too. It's not just
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
trauma bonding, as you explained before. There are good times. So who do I think of first? Is the woo. So I
Mm,
reach out to them in all aspects of my life, from college on, tough times. And I know I had to take summer classes at Rutgers and even going out in the world. So
Mm.
I think the sisterhood is the intimacy for me, like not having a sister. I was the only girl. So I think I gravitated towards having sisters.
mm,
Yeah, yeah,
mhm,
yeah.
Yeah. I would agree on that sisterly level, but to like sort of expand it more, I think I felt like the woo, and I still do, of course, feel like the woo is an extension of family. So, that I don't know that you know this. Please, your name, Christian
Cherisna.
Cherisna, so beautiful. So I unfortunately lost my brother and my sister years back. And so as a result of that, the woo has served as all my sisters. They have really always been there. When you talk about trauma healing, as
mhm,
Judith mentioned at the top, I was like, that is it. Like, you guys have been there from the beginning. So I started college without a mom. I was 15 when I lost my mom. And so they were it. They became that the embrace that I was looking for.
mhm,
So, when you talk about trauma and you talk about that intimacy, they filled that void for me.
Mm.
Like
mhm, yep,
family, pure and pure. Y'all came to my house and you saw the pictures that I have of you guys,
mhm,
throughout the house. Cause that's family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think for me that intimacy came with I was so naive and so I'd never left home,
Mhm.
church, school, and my 833 Stuyvesant Avenue was
Say it in Creole. What are the 3 things in a
Creole.
Haitian
L'école,
household,
la caille,
Jula?
l'église, right?
For those Haitian people that
That's
know
all I
things, that's all we
knew.
knew.
And so my brain, my mind, my perspectives were so small and
Mm.
just so limited. And
Mhm.
it was just relegated to those three things. L'école, la caille, l'église, home, church, school, right? And so when I went to college and met you guys, there was a challenge there for me. I
Mm.
remembered, and Tanea will say this, because I tell this story all the time about if it wasn't for her, I don't think the way I believe in the faith right now, I would, right?
Mm.
Because of the questions she would ask. Why do you believe that? Why do you do that? How about these people? How about
Mhm.
those people? How about that perspective?
Oh, that's
How
true.
about
You
this
guys would get
perspective?
into it. Yes,
I
it's true.
mean, his first year in college,
I know you
I
saying it.
was
It's
just
true.
like very, very self-righteous, because my perspective
Mhm.
was so
Yeah.
limited,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
she was so
She would
gentle.
challenge. She would challenge
Yes.
it. Mhm.
He was
Yep.
so gentle. I think that the thing about our friendship is that we're genuinely like good people, even through our own
Mhm.
pain and suffering and own
Mhm.
trauma. We
Mhm.
don't use our trauma to really to hurt other people. We're not the people that hurt people hurt people. We
Mm.
were the
Mm-mm.
hurt people want to figure out how to love people, right?
That's
Mhm.
right.
And so we kept leaning in love. And so even when she would challenge me and would,
Mm.
ask hard questions because I really didn't know. Because the
Mhm.
reality is about the fundamentals of our faith is that sometimes they're just very shallow.
Yes.
We say we believe because
Mhm.
that's what we've been taught.
That's what we were told.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's not steady, strong foundation in some
Right.
of what we believe. We just say it
That's
because
what
we
they
do.
told us to believe.
Yeah.
Exactly. So some of those things that I was exposed to, some of those questions she was asking me was really strengthening my core.
Mm.
Mm.
And I am so grateful.
Mhm.
And let me tell you, I'm so grateful because,
That's the truth.
that core is strong now because I was exposed to you guys who believed in a different way. Not that you
Mhm.
didn't believe, but it was different. And I
Mhm.
needed that difference so
Mm.
that I could be strong, so I can
Mhm.
navigate the global space that I'm in right now.
Mhm.
That's right.
And so it was there
Beautiful.
our core was just solid and strong
Beautiful.
and beautiful and
True
gracious
indeed.
and kind. And so though there was trauma, there was such beauty in each of us.
Beautiful.
Yes,
I'm
indeed.
interested to hear how you all, it's 10 of you, 10 different personality. I mean, if you are anything like Dieula, a strong personality, strong identity, I'm curious how the 10 of you navigate conflict amongst one another
Mm.
and how that help with other relationships.
I ain't
That
Mm.
my goodness. And let me start because my husband always tells me, I tell him all the time, I was like, when I talk to my girls, we don't get into arguments. How can I want my relationship with my husband to be like the woo? He's like, mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's because y'all don't argue. Y'all always being nice to one another.
There's
I,
been
I, I
conflict.
I don't think that's true. I think we all I don't within the 10 of us, we all have those that we are closer to, right? This is in my opinion. I think Jula and Anit are closer. Me and Ngozi
Mhm.
and Ivy are closer because we were roommates. So I think maybe some of that avoids the challenges, the arguments, because we're not always like trying to be judgy towards one another, right? But
Mm.
with that being said, there have been conflict.
Mhm.
I know me and Ivy, although I love
You're
her,
over here like
Look, I'm like,
giggling because this is her posture, okay? She giggles.
yeah.
no, the reason why, because I'm thinking, there's been stuff in the past. There's been little
I was
stuff,
about to bring
but
me and
I'm not trying to
Ivy. We
put
were
it. Yeah, I'm
close.
not trying to put like
Yeah.
details out
Yeah,
here.
you don't
Yeah,
need
yeah.
details.
And I it's gonna be
Yeah,
very, very
right.
surface level, right? Not
I'm all
because
diplomatic.
we're past all that, right? It's not But we have to, like, let people know it's not just all
True, true,
pretty,
true.
right?
For sure, for sure.
So we, the woo, know the intimate details,
Yes,
but
yes.
me and Ivy had a falling out and we didn't talk for a while. But because of that sisterhood, like I missed her
Mhm.
and I reached out. So when you really love someone, you're
Mhm.
going to be pushed to reach back out to them.
True,
So
true.
I think for me, even though there's ups and downs, if you really love each other, which we all do, we found
Yeah.
our way back to one another.
Yeah. I would add too, because we're all different human beings, our styles are different, our personalities and characters are different. The way we each deal with conflict is quite different.
Mhm.
So, but what tends to happen though, for the most part, is if you do have a conflict with a sister, you're direct with them. It's not something that, okay, now let nine of us gang up on one person, or we're now taking sides of different teams, of different factions. No, it's more like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm going to talk directly to Ludy and
Mhm.
understand, what's the disconnect, what's going on, let's resolve, and then come back to the chat, come back to the group, come
Mhm.
back to family, basically.
Mhm.
Because, we're too grown. We're at a point where, we don't have time to do all of the ch. Now, look, I'm gonna be honest. There was a time in my life when I was more of the more.
If you in a fight, you better call Nikki. She the
I'd be
one. She
like,
was
look,
ready.
what had happened was, and that you get nowhere with that. It causes division. It causes people looking at you
Mhm.
sideways.
Yeah.
But it takes growing up. That's that to me that's like the younger, immature, sort of not having enough going on in your own life. So you're looking at what everybody else is doing. But once you get grown and you have your own stuff, you don't have time for any of that. Do you know what I mean? I have my best friend is my husband. So if I need to chit, I chit to him, and
Mhm.
that's my homie. You know what I mean?
Aw.
So
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah, I think there's a level of safety in our friendship that I think subconsciously we each know that we're good with each other no matter what. We're not at 32 years we know, you
For
know.
real.
And we had to go through different phases in our relationship because I feel like after college, we all took a break because it was
Mm.
like sister bonding on like
Yeah.
steroids.
Yeah.
And
It
so
did get a
after
little quiet,
college,
and we kind
we,
of got what you know what I mean, your
yeah.
friend, but not like, yeah, that's true.
Exactly, because I was the first to, like, have a child, and
Yes.
then, I was immersed in mommying and, wifing and all that. I missed some things,
Mhm.
'cause y'all would be talking about, "Oh, we went to,
We gone to
Miami,"
the
and I'm looking at
yeah.
y'all like, "Mhm,
We got
must be nice," you know? So they would be out here, okay? So now I'm out here because some of them have little kids at home, right? But they were out there having the time of
that's
their lives,
true.
but we needed space. We needed a pause,
Yeah.
to kind of really ask the question, is this relationship going to last?
Mm.
And I feel like when we started shifting back to each other, um it was when you got married, Ngozi, or
Mm.
when Afia had the girls.
Mm.
Around some point, we
Mm.
all started
Coming
gravitating,
back, kind of.
pulling back to one another because it's lonely out here.
I know it.
It is lonely out here.
The
And
truth.
to have sisters that, you can call on and talk to, you want to make it right. And so like
Mm.
they were saying, yeah, we each have our own conflict styles. And earlier on in our relationships, I think there was more of like, mumbles underneath your breath and this and that. There were some people who were maybe a little bit more vocal than others. And some of
Mhm.
us needed to find our voice,
True.
and to be able to say, I don't like that. That hurt my
Mm.
feelings.
Mm. That's
And
true.
so we went through some maturity process. We
Yep.
had to grow up to this point where we know that we know
Mhm.
we ain't going nowhere. This is
Right.
it. This is it. This is the woo. we show up for each other. We are able to create space for one another. And when our
Yes.
feelings are hurt, we are able to say that what needs to be said
Mm-hmm.
and continue to talk through it and continue
That's
to
right.
have conversations through it. And then we're good again,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is
So
great.
I
I
love
Mm,
that.
had I
mm,
had a an experience yesterday. It was a conversation with one of my prayer partners, and prayer partners is an intimate companion spiritually. And we were sharing some stuff about kind of relationships or whatever, and one of the offerings was praying with your spouse. She's married, and I asked about that, and she said an interesting comment yesterday that I'm curious about, because in Ngozi I heard you say my husband is my best friend, and then Ludy you say my husband is like, yeah, referring to the woo, like y'all don't argue, y'all just laugh, he, or whatever. She said, she's almost intimidated to ask her husband to pray with her because it's a kind of vulnerability that she's
mm,
not used to with him.
mm.
Right. And I'm
Mm.
thinking, that's your husband. I'm not judging,
That's-
just an
Yeah,
observation.
yeah.
Right? Not judging. That's your
Mm-hmm.
husband that you feel more comfortable with
Mm-hmm.
me in this
Mm,
vulnerability in this way,
Yeah.
but not him. So I'm just
Mm,
curious about the ways in which this relationship offers something that perhaps even in your intimate relationships that doesn't offer. Or have there
mm,
ever been kinds of conflicts, right? Where husbands, children, even siblings, Diola, you got other siblings. You all mentioned having siblings, but Diola, I know
mm,
you have, four other sister siblings, right?
mm-hmm.
Has this relationship with the woo provided or caused conflict in other intimate relationships because of the way you all are close?
Mm.
no, if anything, it's enhanced it.
Mm,
It has
Yeah.
enhanced my relationship with my husband, with my sisters, with others, because
Mm-hmm.
this relationship is stable and this relationship is safe. And
Mm,
so, if anything, I'm
mm-hmm.
looking at all of my other relationships to kind of replicate some of
mm,
the tenets from this relationship in other relationships.
I
Like the
see.
safety I feel with the girls, because I can
Mm-hmm.
call any of them, and I
Mm-hmm.
do. I know
Okay.
I'm close
Mm-hmm.
to some,
Mm-hmm.
but trust me, I'm the one to get on on the phone to call every last one of them. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it's time for that
Yeah.
conversation. So I want to replicate,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that kind of love, that kind of safety, that thing we have here. So
Mm-hmm.
it enhances all of my other relationships because I'm like, this is good.
Mm, mm.
This is
Yeah.
good. This
Yeah.
is what I feel like true relationship. We talk about Genesis 2:18. It is not good for people to be alone.
that's
And I'm
right.
like, this is it right here.
That's right.
This is
I
it.
I agree. It definitely enhances my other relationships. I think each relationship that I have with all my different cousins and sister friends and so forth is different. So, and I feel safe in each one of them. But safety looks different
Yeah.
for each one, right? So I'm not necessarily trying to replicate the woo what I have because I think what we have is special. I can pray with my husband. I can pray with my cousins and so forth, which we do. But I think it's just it's unique in its own way. And I feel like I want to treasure that, right? I feel very safe in this space. I feel very safe in my marriage and so forth. But I'm just trying to think around what I have found. My husband, he talks like the woo is like no one. He's like I don't have any other friend that has what you guys have. He has not met other people that have what we have. And so he'll tell our daughters, this is like the gold standard. When you get to college or beyond college, hopefully you'll get to find your own tribe, find your own village. It might not be 10 women, but find your own tribe. So he emphasizes that a lot too.
Right.
And when they see me and they see us talk and we're going on vacations and then how do you do that? How do you do? I'm like, just be yourself. Be your
Yes.
most authentic self. Show up the way you show up for each other, show up for other women that way.
Mm,
Your sisters, true and true. Well, I don't like I appreciate that question. I do because
mhm.
it's
Mhm.
making me think. If like how is it different with other relationships? But each one has their own uniqueness about them.
And I think for me, the relationship with the woo is different than any other because we have seen each other from college. So 1994, right? We're partying, we're going to clubs, now we married, we have children. These ladies have seen, okay, they've seen it all. But that's a space, a level of vulnerability that you feel comfortable because they have seen you naked, right?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
They
Like really.
understand the inner workings of who you truly are, and they've seen the growth. They've seen all aspects of you, and they still love on you. There
True.
are some people that they see certain parts of you, and they use that against you.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you do. So you
This is what
don't
you
know,
did.
can I truly like be authentic? In this group with the woo, I am authentically me.
Right.
Myself, me, myself, and I. I'm not someone else. I'm not trying to be this. I'm not trying to be corporate. I'm just me. And it's just a level of ease that comes with that. And I
Yes.
hope that everybody can get that in one space of their relationships.
Yeah.
Right.
Someone is watching this and saying exactly Ngozi,
Ngozi. Yeah.
what your husband is saying, or the ways in which he's reflecting around experiencing you all.
We lost you.
Can you hear me?
You're frozen.
It's just a little blip in
Yeah.
the connection.
He'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
There
Can
you
you
go.
hear me now?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
can.
froze for a minute. Someone is watching and they're saying, man, I don't have this, right? My college experience was not like this. My adult experience is not like this, and I'm lonely. I don't have this level of intimacy. Or, I've been in this relationship for this long and it's not as healthy as you all are just describing. What would you offer a woman? Because it's not good for us to be alone. There are also women who have the practice of, they're friends with their girlfriends. And as soon as they get a man, they leave their friends to be with their men. I mean, this is a unique, right? It feels very normal for the 10 of you, but this is very unique. And I'm assuming that there are going to be many people who's watching who says, I don't know this. This is unfamiliar to a certain degree. The longevity, the intimacy, the experiences, the ways in which the way y'all hyping one another up, the encouragement, the affirmation, it's beautiful in many ways. And I don't know if it's as normal for one as it is
We're in a
right? I think the girlfriends that I have this level intimacy, I didn't found them in college. Right? My college friends
That's fair.
who I was grateful for at the time, when I graduated, exactly what you described happened. We kind of went our own ways, and there was never a point where we came back. Right. And so even today, when I go back home and try to connect, we are so far from who we were, so different from who we are, that it's not sustainable right now today. I'm so different from who I was right when we met. So I just wonder, what would you offer the woman who's watching who says, I don't have this? What characteristics should she have, but also she should be looking for as it relates to girlfriends being in a relationship?
That's a good one.
Yes.
Now you said something that like, if you guys were close and then somebody gets with someone like a man and they become different. The one thing I noticed the one thing I noticed with us, we show up for one another
Yes.
in everything. Like, I just turned 50, had a 50th birthday party. They flew from New Jersey, North Carolina, and showed up. People don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Jula had her vow renewal. We showed up. Everybody, when there's something within our group we're celebrating, we show up for one another. And it doesn't necessarily have to be you're not winning, you're not achieving at that level, whatever it is that you're doing. So that's the advice that I would give to that person. Look for women that show up for you no matter where you are in life, right? Low, medium, high, they are going to show up. And then you must do the same for them. Because we do that in our space. No matter where we are, we show up for one another.
And I would even ask, would you want to be someone's best friend, right? So sort of that internal reflect within, right? And understand all the good, all the bad, all the everything in between. Am I worthy of this kind of a friendship that you want to have? And if you can articulate that, like, yes, I deserve to be loved. I deserve to have close relationships. Then maybe find your way to that place, to that person, whatever that looks like, right? It could be, well, I really love hiking. Well, maybe you can find, women's in that hike club, or I really love Zumba classes, or maybe you might find sort of like-minded people in the place where you love to be, where you just are yourself. Do you see what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
finding yourself in those spaces. You can find somebody that's sort of like-minded.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
That's good. I think the other thing is it is risky. Relationships are risky. And it's important to really count the cost of what it is that you're wanting in a relationship. What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to give up? And what are you willing to receive
Mm-hmm.
in a relationship? Because it does require the reciprocity. It does require the showing up. It does require the getting up out of bed and
Right.
booking the flight. It does
Mm-hmm.
require keeping your
True.
word.
Right.
True.
Like
True.
it requires, not being so judgmental and not being able to see your sister.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So it requires you,
That's true.
being, just being out of yourself sometimes to step
Mm-hmm.
into your sister's
Mm-hmm.
shoe. So it
That's a good.
requires that, and all of that is risky.
It
And
is
so
vulnerability.
it
It's risky.
really is risky.
Yeah.
So
Seriously.
Yeah.
yeah.
As you say that, sorry,
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No.
I'm just thinking, men, they often have a hard time doing all these things that you mentioned. The vulnerability, the, sort of showing up to places when they don't feel like it, or just going out of your way. We intrinsically, that's kind of what we do. We
Yes.
want to nurture each other. Is everything okay? We're always checking in. If we're not texting, we're calling. What is? We know men, they tend to be isolated and lonelier and all of these things. I'm just thinking as you're talking, Jewel, I'm like, golly, I wish I could get my husband to
Yes.
do more of that because he sees it. He's like, man, I wish I had that.
You
How do you know? Like he has these relationships from the past, but it's the continuity, the consistency, the showing up, the being there.
Yeah.
You speak into a study that came out that says men are more lonely than women.
Yes.
And women are not lonely because of the ways in which we're in community with one another, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about single women, right? We're
Yeah.
single women who are not rushing to go to the altar like
Yeah.
generations before because it's like there's community, there's this my girlfriends will
Sisterhood.
often say, the sisterhood, this connection. My girlfriends will often say we're each other's soulmates. We have found a way, right, to hold each other down
True.
even in our singleness, that unfortunately men, because in many ways, how they've been socialized, right? How they've been socialized around emotions, right?
Yeah.
Women, we have permission to be vulnerable. And we can be vulnerable with one another in a way that oftentimes men can't be. Right. So I do think there is this beauty, this permission that women are often given that sometimes men are not.
Exactly.
For the man that is watching, the invitation is the ways, how can you offer yourself the gift of vulnerability so that you can make that kind of connection? And it is a risk, right?
Yep.
It
It
is.
is.
It is.
But the risk is, but the other risk is staying lonely, right? Or entering into a risk where there is an opportunity for you to be in community, because go back to the text, it ain't good for humans. It ain't good for anyone.
Right.
On any way, right?
It's so
I know
true.
we're past times, but I do have one more question, or not even a question, just an offering. What would you offer the woman or the man who is married, who has been taught to prioritize their marriage, where to the point they abandon friendships like this, right? Whereas you all said, I think, Dieula, you said, because of these relationships, right, it has enhanced me to be a better wife, a better sister, a better mom, a better this and that. would you offer? What wisdom would you offer the person who's been socialized to assume
Mm.
that once I'm married, I've arrived, all
Mm.
other relationships, right, don't
Ugh.
matter. It's this relationship. Or the mother who sees motherhood in a way where she's let go of, or he let go of all other relationships. What wisdom would you offer
Oof.
them
Boy, oh boy.
around the beauty and even the art of sisterhood?
Mm.
Yeah.
Goodness. Julia, did you want to start or you want us to?
Yeah. I want to share how I began. There's when we met in college, we saw each other in a way that needed no explanation.
Mm.
And for the married woman who, feel that they've arrived, no one can see you like a sister. There's
Mm.
something about a sister, married or unmarried, because for a
Mhm.
very long time when I was married, Neve, my best friend, she was not married. And
Mm.
I had to allow myself to be seen by her. And I
Mm.
had to allow myself to be seen by the woo. Like,
Mhm.
y'all saw me in a way that was different from how my husband saw me, and I needed that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm.
I
That's a good
really
point.
needed that.
That's a
So
good point.
it's about
Teach.
how we began. The way we began
Yeah.
is the way I feel like that's what's been keeping us, is because
Yeah.
there's a seeing that women have. We have these eyes that's
Mhm.
different than other eyes.
That's the
Oh,
truth.
so
I
yeah.
would concur. I mean, I have my woo sisters, and you all see me in a way that, sometimes I don't even see myself.
Oh, wow.
Do you know? And it's important. I have another group of women I'm a part of, 80 Women Strong, and they see me in a different way that I see myself too, you know? So each relationship, you see yourself in a different way. And it's important that I have an identity. I would say to the
Mhm.
wife, to the husband, it's important that you have an identity beyond wife, husband, spouse. You need something else that makes you more interesting, to be quite honest. You need
Yeah.
to, just go out and be and come back. You probably come back even stronger, more excited, maybe even
Mhm.
sexier. You
Mhm.
have stories to share. That I think has been sort of has been very helpful. Just being another person beyond wife and mom and so forth. And I come back and I share, and he's like, "Oh, you got a lot of energy about you. I love it. Keep going out with your girls. Keep doing your thing." It's like another dimension of
Mhm.
you, and I appreciate that. It makes me
Yeah.
more interesting.
Yeah. And I think for me, you can't find everything in one person.
Yes.
And you have to give yourself permission
Mm.
to be in different spaces, right?
Mhm.
You are one way with your husband, and that's beautiful. You're one
Mhm.
way with your children, that's beautiful. You're one way with your girls, that's
Yes.
beautiful in itself. But
Yes.
at the core of it, who are you? If
Mm.
you yourself do not have an identity to
Mm.
understand your individuality, no matter what groups you're in, it doesn't
Mm.
even matter.
Mhm.
So I think
Mhm.
you need to own and understand the individual and then navigate through those different spaces.
Mm. I love it.
Yeah, this is great. I know we're ending. Dilla, you mentioned a terminology that I don't want us to drop without you giving a good description of. You said trauma bonding.
Mm.
Talk a little bit about what trauma bonding is. And in this case, trauma bonding seemed to work for the woo, but it
Mhm.
doesn't always. So I want to just
Mm.
take for you to kind of give your professional description of what bonding is and the danger of it as well.
Yeah, trauma bonding is really connecting and bonding, commiserating, or sharing stories of trauma and bonding with each other only because of the trauma we experienced, the similar trauma we experienced together, right? Or
Okay.
individually, but now we're bonding over these trauma stories. We
Okay.
tell them over and over again. They are familiar.
Mm.
We have not healed from those stories, so we bonded with people for
Mm.
the first time, probably, who can resonate with what we went through. And the danger of trauma bonding is that that's all you do. You know, this is where we stay. This is where the relationship lie. There's very there's limited resources to be able to move from the trauma. So we sit there, we lick the wounds, we lick the pain, and we just continue to sit in the cesspool of trauma, right?
You become codependent.
You become very codependent with one another in the trauma. What's different about the woo is that we moved from the trauma to a place of healing together. We kind of like propelled each other into a greater season of ourselves. Like we needed help from each other. We needed help. We needed someone to help see us, but we needed help to move beyond the trauma. We needed the support. We needed the encouragement. We needed the applause. We needed the bravo. We needed cheerleaders to say, keep going. And that's what we did with each other. We knew each other's traumas. We knew about Ngozi. We knew about Ludy, but we were not, it wasn't good enough for her to just sit there, for them to just sit there. So we propelled each other into our greatest selves. And that was the beauty about the woo, is that we didn't sit and just trauma bonding. We moved on. We moved forward.
Amen.
We
I love that.
moved
Yes.
into who we were really created to be. We saw more for one another than we could see for ourselves or we could see from the trauma. And we moved forward, not move on, because I know there's still some pain,
We're
some
still a
things
work in
that
progress.
we're
Yeah.
still working
Yep.
through, but we propelled each other onward. And that's
That's
the
right.
beauty about the woo.
That's right.
Beautiful, beautiful. It is such a joy to be with you all, to hear and to experience this level of intimacy from you all. I know this is the representative and not the 10, the whole woo. But I am grateful for your time, your sacrifice, but just to be able to bear witness to what true sisterhood looks like
Yeah.
in a world where connections are not always safe, even as it relates to similarity, right? All kinfolk and all skin folk and kinfolk,
That's
Talk
right.
right?
about it.
Um,
That's true.
but to bear witness, to hear what longevity of sisterhood looks like, what safety looks like, right? What
That's right.
vulnerability looks like, what sisterhood
Right.
looks like. It's just beautiful. I mean, I walk away from this describing this experience one word, beautiful. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you
Yeah.
for
You.
your time, but thank you for your sisterhood and the way in which you all are living out the divine amongst one another. Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for
Thank
inviting us,
you.
I
ladies.
know. Great opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
The woo, I speak the names of the other woo ladies who are not here with us, and I hope we made them proud. I think they would have
I think
think
so.
so.
shared the
I
same
think so.
stories we shared. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm so grateful for your friendships and how you guys have really, like, when I talk about who have influenced me, you have propelled me into who I am today. And I'm so grateful. I am
Amen.
so
Amen.
grateful for
Same.
God seeing me as worthy
Mm.
to be in relationship with you all. So thank you.
Mhm.
For our listeners,
Thank
I
you.
want to leave you with some words of affirmation because I know so many are struggling with, why am I not in a relationship? Or how come I don't have this and that? What we believe, Cherisna and myself in this series, is that you were created for a
Yes.
relationship. And we are praying and hoping that the Spirit of God continue to move you toward good relationship. And here's the affirmation I want to close with. I want you to share this with yourself over and over and over again as you are in pursuit of good relationship. Don't give up because I believe good relationships are all around us. We just got to have good eyes,
Mm.
good intuition, to find, to be located at the right place, the right place, the right time to be in those relationships. So write this affirmation somewhere, say it to yourself until it is so. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of receiving love, and I am worthy of giving love. I was created for relationships. I needed them from the beginning of my existence to even after I depart this earthly realm. Thank you all so much for listening. See you next time.